The fire in the cave burned low, casting soft golden light on the rough stone walls. Outside, the wind whistled quietly across the cold moon. Inside, Lena sat with her knees pulled close, a thin blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her head still ached from the crash, and her body felt weak. But she was alive, and she was not alone. Across the fire, Zarek sat in silence, watching the flames dance. His long fingers rested on his knees, his eyes glowing faintly like two small stars. Flicked up now and then to look at Herb, but not with fear, not with desire, just curiosity. Lena had seen many aliens in her life, some in spaceports, some in photos, some behind glass. But none like this. None so human in posture, so quiet in presence. Zarak was strange, yes, but he wasn't terrifying. If anything, he looked ... tired of being alone. She cleared her throat. You live here, on this moon? Zarak nodded slowly. Since I was small, alone. Yes, Lena shook her head. That's awful. Zarak tilted his head slightly, thinking, it is quiet. But I do not forget how to speak. How do you know English? I listen to signals. Two human voices from far away. I remember words. That surprised her. He had taught himself a foreign language just by listening to deep space transmissions. Zarak turned his gaze to the sky beyond the cave. Humans are loud, but sometimes kind. There was something in his voice, a fragile, broken edge. Lena couldn't tell if it was sadness, hope, or both. She stood slowly and limped toward the entrance. The night was cold, but the stars above were beautiful, bright, and endless. Her ship was a smoking ruin not far below. From here it looked like a dead insect crushed into the rocks. No chance of getting off this moon with that, she muttered. I know, Zarak said behind her. She turned. You knew I couldn't leave.
Yes.
Then why did you help me? Step forward. His eyes met hers, because even a small light should not go out alone. Lena stared at him, unsure how to respond. They stood in silence for a while, just looking at each other in the cold starlight. Slowly, she realized he was shivering. You're cold, she said. Sir UK shook his head. My body is weak, not made. For this wind, my kind left me here, because I am not strong like them. His voice didn't carry anger, only acceptance, like someone who had already cried everything out long ago. Lena looked down at her own hands. Humans can be cruel. Too, she whispered. I didn't crash here because of an accident. I was sent on a useless mission. They said it was science. But really, I was just the one they could lose. Zarak said nothing. But the distance between them felt smaller now. Back in the cave, Lena tried to sleep.
Ow.
But strange sounds from the moon kept her eyes open. Small clicks, whispers in the wind. She turned her head and saw Zarak still sitting, his back straight, eyes open. Do you ever sleep? She asked. Yes, he said softly, but not when someone else is near. I have not. Had company before. She didn't know what to say. So she just nodded and closed her eyes again. Somewhere deep in the crashed ship, the signal beacon continued to blink faintly. Still alive, still reaching out. But it wasn't just Earth that could hear it. Far away, on a dark ship floating in deep space, a creature stirred from slumber. A tall figure in silver armor looked at the blinking light on a console. A technician turned to him. Sir, the Lost One has made contact. The armored figure's eyes narrowed. The orphan, still alive? Yes, Commander. He's with a human. There was silence for a long moment. Then the commander said coldly, Prepare the fleet. We go to cleanse the shame. Back on the moon, Lena woke up with a start. She had dreamed something strange, a image of Zarak, but he looked different. Less alien, more human. She sat up, confused. Her heart was beating fast. Zaryoka was already awake, staring into the fire. Without turning to her, he said, You saw it, didn't you? Saw what? I change. Lena's throat felt dry. What's happening to you? He finally turned. And for the first time, Lena noticed it. His skin was slightly different. Not in color, but in texture. Softer, smoother. His voice had also changed. Slightly deeper, more human. I do not know why, Xerox said. But when you touched me yesterday, something started inside me. Something I cannot stop. Lena stood slowly. You're evolving? I am adapting, he said, to you. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Zarek looked down at his hands, confused and a little afraid. No one ever wanted to bond with me, but you. You saw me, you spoke to me, and now, I'm becoming something new. Lena took a step back, not from fear, but from the weight of it all. What exactly had she walked into, and what was Zarek becoming? Behind them, the wind howled louder, and above them, somewhere in the stars, warships were moving closer. The days on the moon passed slowly. Time felt different here, stretched out like shadows under fading suns. Lena had begun to lose track of how long she'd been stranded. But one thing was clear. She was no longer just surviving. She was bonding. And not just with this strange alien named Zarg, but with the quiet stillness of this place, the simplicity of it. The silence that didn't judge or expect anything from her. Zaruk was changing. She could see it in his eyes, less glowing, more grounded. His voice had become steadier, and his skin, though still tinged with pale blue, had taken on a smoother, almost translucent quality. When he spoke now, it was with a strange certainty, like something inside him had awakened. And Lena, ... She was no longer afraid. They walked together through the valley one morning, searching for parts from the wreck that could help fix her unit. The crash had thrown pieces far and wide, but Zarek had an uncanny sense he could almost feel where they were buried beneath the rocks. You weren't born like this, were you? She asked, brushing dust from a blackened circuit board. Zarek paused. No, I was born like them, my people. But something was different inside me, something they could not understand. They rejected you for that? They feared it? Said, my blood was unstable, that I might become ... something else. That I might bond with an outsider, that it would ruin the purity of their kind. Lena scoffed. Sounds familiar? Zarek turned to her. Do humans reject the different too? All the time, she said quietly. Sometimes we just give it prettier names. A soft wind passed between them. Lena looked at him. He wasn't just learning her language, he was learning her. Every word, every pause, every emotion. And she was learning him too. They climbed a ridge together, looking out over the wide silver plains. In the distance, Lena saw something she hadn't before. Tall ruins. Part of some old alien structure half buried in the ground. What is that? She asked. Zarek's voice lowered. A temple. Forbidden. I'm not allowed there. He didn't answer at first. Then finally, because that's where the old ones said our kind first mixed with another species. Long ago, they called it the beginning of shame. Lena raised an eyebrow. Sounds more like the beginning of evolution. Zarek looked at her, his eyes glowing faintly again. That's not how they see it. They made camp near the wreck that night. As Lena worked to repair her device, Zarek sat beside her, holding strange alien crystals he used for energy. He hummed softly under his breath, a sound that was neither song nor speech, just a vibration. Low and calming. I dreamed again last night, Lena said suddenly. You were standing in a field. Green grass, blue sky, you looked human. Zarek's hands froze. I don't know why I keep seeing it, she said. It's not a dream, he replied. She turned to him. I see it too, he whispered. When I close my eyes. When I touch the parts of you that feel ... warm, kind. I see your world. I feel it pulling me. Lena reached out slowly, her hand brushing against his. There was no shock. No glow. Just stillness. And then Zarek said something that made her breath catch. I think I was made for this. For what? For becoming? Lena swallowed. Becoming what? But before he could answer, a sudden high-pitched sound filled the Her repair device, it was working. A soft, blinking light. Faint pulse. Someone was nearby. She turned it toward the sky, trying to lock onto a signal. Zarak stood, tense, scanning the horizon. "Is it your people?" she asked. He didn't answer. He just stared into the sky. Lena followed his gaze on, then she saw it. A tiny dot, moving unnaturally fast across the stars. Then another. Then two more. Zarek's voice was barely a whisper. "They found me." Lena's heart dropped. "Will they do? They will take me, or kill me. And if they see you..." He didn't finish the sentence. Lena grabbed the device and stuffed it into her pack. "We run." Zarak didn't move. Zars glowed brighter than they ever had. "If I run now, they'll hunt us both, forever. Then we hide." He looked at her, the way someone looks when they're seeing the last sunset of their life. "They fear the bond, Lena. You touching me, caring for Amit's already too much. If they feel it fully formed, they will destroy everything to stop it." Lena stepped close to him, then let them try. Something changed in him at that moment. His posture straightened, his skin shimmered faintly. And when she touched his cheek, it was warm. Not alien warm, human warm. "We go to the temple," he said suddenly. Lena blinked. "But you said it was forbidden." "I am already broken in their eyes. Let them watch me cross their lines. If I must be hunted, let it be as the one who changed." He reached for her hand. She gave it without hesitation, and together beneath the cold stars and the silent moons, they ran toward the place where shame had begun, ... and where something new might begin again. The temple rose from the ground like the bones of a forgotten god. Half of it was buried in silver dust, the rest broken and leaning, ancient stone cracked under centuries of wind and silence. Strange symbols shimmered faintly across its curved walls, glowing when Zarak stepped near, then fading when Lena followed. The moonlight made everything feel colder, like they were walking into a place the universe itself had tried to erase. Zarak stopped at the entrance. His hands trembled slightly. "You've never been here?" Lena asked. "No, not even as a child. I was told that stepping here would ... poison me." She looked at him. "You still want to go in?" "I have no choice now." They crossed into the temple. Inside, the air was still. Thick, ancient energy pressed against their skin like invisible mist. As they moved deeper, torches along the wall lit up one by one, as if the temple recognized him or welcomed him. Lena reached out and touched one of the walls. The stone was warm. "What is this place, really?" she asked. Zarek's voice was low. "They say this was where it first happened. Long ago, when a dying alien bonded with a traveler from another world, it changed them, made something new, something powerful. But the elders called it a disease, stain on their bloodline. So they burned the stories, closed the temple, and banned any outsider bond." Lena walked slowly beside him. "But the bond still exists. In you, I think." "It was never lost," Zarak said. "Only buried." They reached the center of the temple, a large circular chamber with a pool in the middle. The water glowed softly blue and silver, like the galaxy trapped in liquid. Zeruk stepped toward it and looked down. His reflection stared back at him, then changed. It shifted between forms, first his current self, then something slightly more human, then something in between. Lena stepped beside him, "Showing you what you're becoming." "I don't know what I am anymore," he said. She placed a hand on his arm. "Maybe that's not a bad thing?" Zarak looked at her, and for the first time, there was fear in his eyes. Not fear of death, but of choice. "I can feel the change inside," he said. "But I don't know if it's real, or just because of you." Lena was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "What if it's both?" Zarak knelt beside the pool and touched the water. Immediately, the entire room pulsed with light. The walls lit up with moving patterns. Images danced in the stone beings of light and shadow merging, forming something neither had ever been before. Zarek's body shook. His eyes closed tight. Lena ran to him. "Zarek, what's happening?" His hands clutched his chest. "It's calling the memory, ... of what I could be." A deep hum filled the chamber. The water in the pool rose slowly, forming into a column of glowing mist. Lena stepped back, shielding her eyes. And in that mist, she saw something that made her heart freeze. A vision. Car, UK standing on Earth, completely human in appearance, smiling, holding a child. But beside him was not her. She gasped. Then the vision vanished. The light dropped, the temple fell silent again. Zarek was on the floor, breathing hard. His skin was steaming faintly. Parts of his body, his hands, face, chest had shifted. His features were softer now. His eyes were less alien, more familiar. Lena helped him sit up. He looked at her, dazed. "Did you see it too?" She nodded. Her voice was quiet. "What was that?" "The memory of future," he said. "Not fixed, only possible." Lena felt a chill. I wasn't there in that vision. Zarek's hand found hers. Maybe that's a warning. Or maybe a choice I haven't made yet. Before she could speak again, a loud crack echoed through the chamber. Stones shattered behind them. They turned. 3 tall figures stood in the doorway. Their armor shimmered like starlight. Their weapons hissed with energy. Her eyes glowed. With cold fire, one of them stepped forward and pointed at Zarek. "You crossed the forbidden. You touched the human. You opened the gate." Zarek stood slowly. "You left me here to die." The voice replied, "Because you were not one of us. You were made with broken blood. Now you have proven it." Lena stepped in front of Zarek. "He's not broken. He's evolving." The warriors raised their weapons. Zarek's voice deepened. "Touch her, and I will show you what evolution means." A blink, his form shimmered. Not fully alien. Fully human, something new, something neither side had prepared for. The warriors hesitated. Zaruk raised his hand. The glowing pool behind him rose again. Symbols on the walls turned red. The air began to crackle with raw energy. And then, as if the temple itself was waking up after centuries of sleep, a deep voice echoed from the walls. "The bond has returned. The cycle begins again." The ground shook. Lena grabbed Zarek's hand. He looked at her eyes filled with both fire and fear. "Are you ready?" She nodded. "I already chose." And together they stepped into the light, as behind them the warriors screamed into silence. The light from the temple swallowed them whole. Lena could feel it deep in her skin, in her teeth, in her bones, vibrating through her body like an ancient song written in a language older than stars. She couldn't see anything, only flashes. Zarek's hand gripping hers, the outline of symbols glowing red and white, the cold air turning warm like breath on glass. Then everything stopped. They stood in a new chamber, deeper than before. This place wasn't dusty or broken like the upper ruins. It was alive walls, pulsing softly with light, a slow heartbeat echoing from somewhere far below. Lena looked around and whispered, "This place is waiting." Zarek said nothing. He was changing again. His skin flickered between shades blue-gray, then almost human. His voice was lower now, but calmer, more centered. "This is the origin chamber, where the first bond was made, where the lie began." Lena moved closer to him. What lie? That mixing blood is wrong. That unity is death, a people built. A whole world on fear of becoming something new. She nodded. "And now you are that something." He didn't answer. His gaze was locked on the glowing platform ahead of them. Carved into it was a symbol she hadn't seen before. Circles overlapping with a third in between. Unity. Not one, not two, but both above them. The stone ceiling cracked slightly. Loud, distant boom echoed through the corridors behind. "They're coming again," Lena said. Zaruk turned. "They won't let us leave this place alive." "They're afraid of what?" "You are. They should be," he said. "Because I'm not just one of them anymore." Another explosion shook the ground. Dust fell from above. The chamber began to shift, metal plates sliding back. It's old doors unlocking themselves after centuries of sleep. Lena pulled her damaged cum device from her pack and hit a few keys. The screen blinked. A weak signal pulsed. "We can call for help," she said. "Earth might pick this up." "They'll come with guns," Zarek replied. "That's what humans do when they're scared." "Maybe, but they won't come to destroy you. They'll want to understand." Zarek's expression softened. "Will they understand that I am no longer alien, and no longer human either?" "Have to try like I did." Suddenly, the far wall opened, revealing a tall figure in ceremonial robes. An elder, taller than the warriors. His body glowed with the old power half-tech, half-biological, almost machine-like. His face held no expression. "I thought you would run," the elder said. Sar UK stepped forward. "I ran for half my life. Now I walk." The elder's eyes moved to Lena. "You bonded."
Yes.
Yazarek said, "And I'm not ashamed." Elder's voice was like stone breaking underwater. "Then you are no longer one of us." "I never was," Zarek said. "No. You left me because I carried something different inside. But now I see it wasn't a curse. It was a path." The elder raised his hand. A sphere of light hovered above his palm. Pulsed red danger. "Warning. A threat. Walk that path," the elder said, "and we will burn it behind you." "We will." "Never return." Zarek looked at Lena. Her eyes didn't move from his. He said, "I don't want to go back." The elder lowered the sphere slightly, and the human. "Don't speak for her," Zarek said. Lena stepped forward. "I do. I'm not here to take your world. I'm not here to break your people. If you try to kill what's becoming, you will lose more than a war. You will lose your future." Silence. Then the elder turned and disappeared through the stone wall, which sealed behind him. Zare UK let out a long breath. "They're afraid to fight us directly now." "Why?" "'Cause they saw the bond in full light." The ground trembled once again. This time it wasn't an attack. A new vibration echoed through the chamber, a sound of something rising. Below them, the platform began to glow brighter, lifting them upward. A stairway of floating steps appeared, leading toward the surface. Lena and Zarek climbed, one slow step at a time. The temple seemed to open for them, as if some part of it had accepted the union they represented. When they emerged again under the open sky, it was not the same moon they had known above them, for alien warships hovered dark, sharp, humming with weapon energy. Lena's voice shook. "They came anyway." Zarak looked at the sky. "Then we don't run anymore." He walked to a high rock and raised his hands. His body's shimmered light pulsed from within his chest. Transformation was reaching its peak. Bones shifting under skin, skin glowing like crystal. His voice, when it returned, sounded like two voices at once. One human, one alien. He spoke in their old language, then he switched to English. "If you strike me down, you prove my truth. That you cannot allow what you fear. But if you let me live, if you let us live, then something new can begin." The ships hovered in silence. Lena activated her cum unit again. "This is Engineer Lena Hall, Earth Designation 47 Echo. I am alive. I am with a being of unknown classification. He is not a threat, he is a bridge. If Earth can hear me, do not send warships. Send scientists and diplomats." There was static, then a voice, weak, crackling. "Copy, ... Lena. Confirm. Identity." Lena's face lit up. "Earth heard me." Zarek smiled. Above them, the warships began to drift back, slowly turning, but far away beyond even the ships another. Threat was watching, not alien, not human, but something that had been waiting for this bond to return, and now it was awake. The stars were quiet again. For a moment, it felt like peace. The alien warships slowly retreated, disappearing one by one into the upper atmosphere. Zarek stood tall on the rock, his body no longer flickering between forms it had settled. Human. Eyes, alien skin, a hybrid shape wrapped in light. The bond with Lena had fully taken root, not just in his body, but in the space between them, the way they breathed together, moved together, even without speaking. Lena lowered her cum unit and looked up at him. They left. No, Zarek said quietly. They paused. She stepped beside him. What now? His eyes scanned the horizon. Something else is coming. Lena followed his gaze. There was nothing at first, just the usual emptiness of the moon. Cracked plains stretching into pale hills, then the ground retained, not from above, but from below. A low hum rose through their feet, deep and cold and ancient, like the groan of something buried too long. UK took a step back. It's not them. Something older. What do you mean older? He didn't answer. Instead, he turned and ran toward the ruins of the temple. Lena followed without question. The stone walls pulsed again as they entered. But this time, the lights were dimmer, flickering like a heartbeat losing rhythm. Zarek pressed his hand against one of the pillars. Symbols lit up. A section of the floor slid open, revealing a staircase, spiraling down into total blackness. I wasn't supposed to ever come here, he whispered. Why? Lena asked. Because this is where the truth sleeps. They descended together. The stairs led them to a chamber that looked less like a temple and more like a vault. Walls of metal, not stone. Sealed glass cases lined with bones, alien skulls, artifacts, strange preserved organs in liquid. At the center of the room stood a large stone cylinder covered in seals. Zarek placed both hands on it. What is it? Lena asked. He didn't answer at first. Then softly he said, It's the record. What record? The first hybrid, Lena's breath caught. There was another? He nodded. Thousands of years ago. A union between a traveler and one of my kind. It didn't die. It didn't fail. It evolved. Too fast. Too far. And it changed something in the world around it. Species called it a virus. They hunted it, sealed it away. He looked down, still alive. Lena stepped back. Wait, you mean right now? Zarek closed his eyes. I can feel it. It's waking because I bonded with you. It feels the link. It remembers. The ground shook harder. Above them, stone crumbled. Suddenly the cylinder cracked down the middle. Faint steam hissed from within. A heartbeat echoed through the room, slow and uneven, but growing louder. Lena reached for Zarek. We have to leave. He didn't move. His eyes were wide, locked on the cylinder. It knows my name. The cylinder split open. Inside stood a tall figure, thin, bone-white skin stretched tight over a body, too long, too sharp. Its head was covered in markings like the ones on Zarek's temple, but deeper, carved into the bone. It opened its eyes black, endless. Its voice echoed in their minds, not their ears. You broke the cycle. Zarek staggered back. What are you? I am what happens when you mix too much, when the bond is not balanced, when love becomes hunger. Lena grabbed Zarek's arm. We're leaving now. The being stepped forward. Its feet didn't touch the ground. It hovered slightly, the edges of its body flickering like bad signal. You will feed me. You will finish what was started. Zarek's body pulsed with light. His hands shook. Wants the bond. It wants to hijack it. Lena's voice was calm but firm. Then we cut it off. Zarek looked at her, horrified. You don't know what that would do to me? Neither do I. But I'm not letting this thing turn us into a weapon. The being raised its hand. The vault around them, twisted metal warped air grew heavy. Lena collapsed to her knees, bleeding from her nose. Zarek screamed. Stop! He stepped between Lena and the creature, arms wide. Light burst from his chest. Not just glow memory. Vision shot through the room like lightning. Zarek's childhood. The pain of rejection. The first time Lena touched his hand. The moment she said, I already chose. All of it. Poured into the air like fuel. The being screamed not in pain, but confusion. It tried to absorb the memory, but couldn't. It shook, flickered, and began to decay. Too much emotion, too much choice. Zarek fell to his knees, burning from within. Lena crawled to him, holding his face. Stay with me, he smiled weakly. I told you. I was made for this. The being let out one final, A distorted scream exploded into dust. The chamber fell still. Lena and Zarek lay together on the ground. Breathless, above them, Earth ships finally began to arrive. But the war was already over. Not the war of species, the war of identity. And it was won by two who chose to become one. Sunlight fell on the moon for the first time in weeks. Not starlight, not ship lights. Real golden sunlight brought by Earth's orbiting light array sent to assist with recovery. The warships from both species had retreated into orbit, silent. Waiting, watching. Down below, the temple stood cracked but untouched. The vault beneath it sealed again, but now empty.
Oh.
The ancient hybrid, whatever it had once been, was gone. Burned away by something it could never possess. Memory, bond. Choice.Zaruk sat in the shallow water of the ruined chamber, his body still glowing faintly in the places Lena had touched. His skin had settled into something permanent, now a smooth tone somewhere between soft blue and dusky bronze. His eyes no longer flickered with alien light. They held the steady warmth of someone who had found peace with what they were. Lena sat beside him, her head on his shoulder. Her voice was hoarse. "How long do you think they'll just circle above?" "As long as it takes to decide if we're heroes," Zarok said, "or threats. They're humans. They'll send a committee first. Ask 1,000 questions. Run tests. Then probably argue for months." Zarek smiled faintly. "People are the fast ones." She nudged him. "Compared to yours?" "Absolutely," he chuckled softly, a sound that didn't belong to an orphan or an alien. It belonged to a person. Their silence stretched, not heavy, just full. Full of what they'd been through. Full of what they might be. Lena finally spoke. "So, what now? Do we wait? Do we hide? Do we run again?" Zarek looked toward the sky, where the ships shimmered like stars. "I don't want to run anymore." She nodded. "Neither do I then." Her hand found his. "Let them come. Let them see." They waited. Hours passed. Then, a signal. A shuttle landed near the old ruins. Small, white, unarmed. The Earth flag on one side. The alien sigil on the other. The door opened. A woman in a white suit stepped out. She had gray hair and tired eyes, but her voice was calm. "Engineer Lena Hall?" Lena stood. "Yes." The woman looked at Zarek. Her face didn't twitch. She didn't flinch. "And you are Zarak." He nodded once. The woman stepped forward. "We've been monitoring. We saw everything through the relay. What you did here. It scared a lot of people." Zarak lowered his gaze. "I understand." But she continued, "It also stopped a war. It proved something we didn't want to admit." Lena tilted her head. "And what's that?" "That the line between species is thinner than we think. And maybe it's time to stop pretending it should exist at all." Behind her, more people emerged. Scientists, historians, diplomats, and then, surprisingly, two of Zarek's own kind cloaked in dark robes. No longer holding weapons, Zaruk stepped forward. One of the aliens spoke softly. "We were told you were dangerous, that you were a mistake." Zarak raised his chin. "Maybe I am, but I'm also something new." Yeah, the alien's voice trembled. "And what do we do with something new?" Lena smiled faintly. "You study it, you grow with it. Let it become what it was meant to be," Zarek added. "You let it choose." There was silence, and then the elder nodded. The humans didn't clap, aliens didn't kneel. But both sides took one step closer. To each other, that was enough. Years passed. The story of the orphan and the human spread across both planets, then across colonies and outposts. Children read about the Moon Temple in textbooks. Sculptors carved the overlapping circle symbol into schools and science halls. Politicians still argued about cross-species ethics, but something had shifted. The fear had cracked. And in one small house near a quiet lake on a green and peaceful moon, a child ran through the grass barefoot. He had skin like twilight and bright amber eyes. He was fast, curious. And sometimes when he laughed, His voice echoed faintly just for a second, like a memory from two bloodlines singing together. Zaruk stood by the water, watching the boy chase a bird into the wind. Lena sat behind him, reading from a tablet. He's asking questions again. Let him, Zaruk said. Deserves all the answers. She smiled. You remember when no one wanted to touch you? I do. And now. He turned to her, and his voice was full not of pride, but of something deeper. Gratitude. Wonder. Now. I am a father, a partner, a bridge. I was once the mistake no one wanted to love. She closed the tablet. And now they teach about me in schools. She stood, walked to him, and placed her hand over his heart. It was steady, warm. Not just about you, she whispered. About us. The child called out from the hilltop, his voice echoing. Come on, race me. Zaruk and Lena ran together, hand in hand, and far above, Earth and alien satellites passed each other in orbit silent, watching, learning. Because long ago, nobody wanted to mate with the poor alien orphan except the human, who saw something worth saving. And something worth becoming together forever. In a dark and quiet corner of the galaxy, there was a small, forgotten moon. It had no name, no cities, no people, only rocks, wind, and silence. But someone lived there. A strange alien named Zaruk walked alone across the dusty ground. He was not like the others of his kind. His skin was pale blue, his body was thin. His eyes glowed softly like stars behind clouds. Zaruk was an orphan. His people had left him many years ago. They said he was broken. They said he was dangerous. No one wanted to talk to him. No one wanted to raise him. And no one, not even the lowest of their kind, wanted to bond with him or become his mate. He was born different, and for that they feared him. But Zaruk did not hate them, just didn't understand. Every night he sat on a rock near a cliff and looked at the stars. He watched them move slowly across the black sky. He spoke quietly to himself one day. Someone will come, someone who sees me. He had been saying those words for many years, but no one came. Until one day, the sky broke. A loud boom echoed across the moon. A flash of red light lit up the sky. Something was falling fast. Smoke and fire followed it as it crashed into the rocky valley below. Zaruk stood up. His heart raced. His glowing eyes widened. It was a ship, a human ship. He had never seen a human before. But he had heard stories about how they were brave, curious, and sometimes kind. Zaruk ran to the crash site. The ship was broken and burning. Metal pieces were scattered everywhere. Sparks jumped in the air, and lying next to the wreck was a woman. She was unconscious. Blood on her forehead. Her hand was shaking. Zaruk took a deep breath. Slowly, he walked closer. The woman opened her eyes for a second and saw him. Her face twisted in fear. Don't hurt me, she whispered. Zaruk stopped. He didn't move. I won't, he said gently, his voice strange but soft. Then she passed out. Zaruk carried the woman to a small cave he used as shelter. He cleaned her wounds with soft leaves and glowing herbs. He wrapped her arm with his scarf. Then he waited beside her, watching the rise and fall of her chest. Hours passed. When the woman finally opened her eyes again, she saw the alien sitting quietly, not far from her. He wasn't touching her. He wasn't hurting her. It was just watching. She sat up slowly. Where am I? You crashed, Zaruk said. You're safe now. The woman stared at him. Who are you? I am Zaruk. Are you going to kill me? No. Silence filled the cave. The woman looked around. She saw the herbs, the fire, the scarf on her arm. You helped me, she said, confused. Zaruk nodded once. Why? He looked down. For a moment, then met her eyes. Because I was waiting for you. She frowned. What do you mean? Zaruk stood and walked to the cave entrance. He looked at the stars again. I don't know why, he said, but I always believed someone would come. Someone who didn't fear me. Someone who would see me. Not as a monster, but as a friend. The woman stayed quiet. She watched. She saw how lonely he looked. Not dangerous. It's not evil. Just sad. "What's your name?" Zarok asked, without turning. "Lena," she said softly. "My name is Lena." Zarok smiled a little. His eyes glowed brighter for a second. "That's a nice name." Outside, the wind blew gently. The stars shined above. And for the first time in many years, Zarok did not feel alone. But deep in the broken ship, something beeped. A weak signal. A message trying to escape the moon's shadows. Zarok didn't hear it, Lena didn't notice it, but far away. Something or someone did. And they were coming.